I stood at the airport check-in counter, clutching a one-way ticket to a city I had only seen in movies. When I looked up at the man behind the desk, I realized my journey was over before it began, because I was staring into the eyes of the father I was told died 20 years ago. Hello, everyone. Welcome to English Unwritten. We have a wonderful story for you today. This story is in slow, clear, and simple English that's easy to understand. So please listen closely and watch your English get better naturally. My name is Leo. For as long as I can remember, it has just been me and my mother, Elena. We lived in a small house with a blue door at the end of a very quiet street. Our lives were predictable and safe. We had a routine for everything: tea at 4 o'clock, gardening on Saturdays, and long walks on Sunday mornings. But there was a shadow in our house. It was the shadow of a man who wasn't there. Whenever I asked about my father, my mother's face would change. She didn't look angry. She just looked empty. She would say, "Leo, your father was a brave man, but he had to go away a long time ago. He is a part of the past now." As a child, I imagined he was a secret agent or a sailor lost at sea. But as I became a man, I accepted the silence. I stopped asking. I decided that if he wanted to find us, he would have. I didn't know that the truth was waiting for me in a place filled with thousands of strangers. I worked very hard for 3 years at a small library. I saved every dollar, every cent. I didn't go to movies, and I didn't buy new clothes. I had one goal. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see London. I wanted to stand under the Big Ben and walk across the Tower Bridge. Finally, the day arrived. I had my passport, my suitcase, and my dreams. My mother hugged me at the front door. She was crying. "Be careful, Leo," she whispered. "The world is much bigger than this street." I took the bus to the airport. The airport is a strange place. It is a place of beginnings and endings. It is full of people saying hello and people saying goodbye. I felt small in the giant glass building. I looked at the big screens. My flight was scheduled for 10 a.m. I walked toward the check-in counters. There were rows and rows of desks. I found my airline and stood in line. I was nervous. I checked my pocket 3 times to make sure I had my passport. I watched the people in front of me. A family was going on vacation. A businessman was looking at his watch. Finally, a voice called out, "Next, please." I walked to desk number 42. A man was sitting there. He was wearing a dark blue uniform with a silver name tag. He was looking down at his computer, typing quickly. He had gray hair at his temples and strong, tanned hands. "Good morning," I said. "I am checking in for the flight to London." I placed my passport on the counter. The man took it without looking up. He opened the passport and read my name. The typing stopped. The office noise, the suitcases rolling, the announcements, the chatter, all of it seemed to disappear. The man slowly raised his head. When his eyes met mine, I felt a shock go through my body. It was like looking into a mirror that showed me the future. He had my eyes, that specific shade of forest green that my mother always said was unique. He had the same straight nose and the same small gap between his front teeth. He didn't speak. He just stared at me. He looked at my passport again, then back at my face. His face went pale and his lips started to tremble. "Leo?" he whispered. His voice was cracked and thin. "Leo? Miller?" "Yes," I said. I felt cold. "How do you know my name? Do I know you?" He reached out his hand as if he wanted to touch my face, but then he pulled it back. He looked around to see if his supervisor was watching. He leaned forward, his voice a hurried whisper. "I am David," he said. "Your mother?
Is her name Elena? Does she still have that small bird tattoo on her wrist? I couldn't breathe. My suitcase felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Who are you? I demanded.
I am your father, he said. Before I could scream or run, he stood up. Leo, please, my break starts in 5 minutes. There is a small cafe at the very end of this terminal. It is quiet there. Please, do not get on that plane. Just give me 10 minutes. I stood there, frozen. The people behind me in line were starting to complain. Hey, move it, someone shouted. David looked at me with eyes full of a pain I couldn't understand. I grabbed my passport, left my suitcase by the counter, and walked toward the cafe. I didn't know if I was going to find the truth or a lie. I sat at a small table in the corner of the cafe. I watched the clock. 5 minutes. 6 minutes. 7. Every second felt like a year. I thought about my mother. I thought about the brave man who was part of the past. Then I saw him. He was walking toward me, looking older than he did behind the desk. He sat down across from me. He didn't order coffee. He just looked at me as if he was trying to memorize my face. I know what you are thinking, David began. You think I left you. You think I didn't want you. My mother said you were gone, I said. My voice was low and angry. If you were alive, why weren't you there? Why did I grow up alone? David reached into his pocket. He pulled out a leather wallet. It was old and the edges were torn. From a secret compartment, he pulled out a photograph. It was a picture of my mother when she was very young. She was sitting on a swing, laughing. I had never seen this photo before. I didn't leave you, Leo, David said. I was a pilot for a small cargo company. 20 years ago, my plane went down in a mountain range during a storm. Everyone thought I was dead. I was in a coma for months in a small village hospital. When I woke up, I didn't know my own name. I didn't know who I was. He paused, wiping his eyes. It took 2 years for my memory to return. When it did, I ran back to our city, but the house was gone. Your mother had moved. I went to the police, the hospitals, the old neighbors. No one knew where she went. She had changed her name back to her name. She had disappeared to start a new life because she thought her husband was a ghost. So why the airport? I asked. David smiled sadly. I knew that if I stayed in one place, I might never find you. But I knew that the airport is the door to the world. I thought, one day, Elena or Leo will want to see the world. They will come to this door. And I wanted to be the one standing there to open it for you. You've been working at this desk for 15 years? I asked, stunned. 15 years, he confirmed. I have checked the passports of millions of people. Every morning I prayed, please let today be the day. I saw children grow up, I saw families reunite, and I waited. I never lost hope. I looked at this man. He wasn't a secret agent. He wasn't a villain. He was a man who had spent half his life waiting at a gate, hoping his family would walk through it. I looked at my boarding pass for London. The plane would leave in 30 minutes. But for the first time in my life, I didn't want to go anywhere. The adventure I wanted wasn't in London. It was sitting right in front of me. I have to call her, I said. I pulled out my phone and dialed my mother's number. My hands were shaking so much I almost dropped it. Leo? She asked. Are you at the gate? Is everything okay? Mom? I said. My voice was thick with emotion. I'm at the airport, but I'm not going to London. What? Why? Did you lose your ticket? No, Mom. I found something. I found someone. He's wearing a blue uniform, and he has a picture of you on a swing. The silence on the other end of the line was absolute. I heard a small gasp, and then the sound of the phone hitting the floor. Then I heard her crying, not the empty crying from my childhood, but the sound of a heart finally coming home. I didn't get on the flight. David's supervisor let him leave early. We walked out of the airport together. The sun was shining and the air felt different. We drove to my mother's house. When we turned the corner of our quiet street, I saw her. She was standing by the blue door. She was wearing her gardening apron. When David stepped out of the car, she didn't run. She just stood there, as if she was seeing a miracle. David walked to her and said only one word: Elena. I stood back and watched them. I realized that my mother wasn't lying when she said my father was a brave man. It takes a different kind of bravery to wait 15 years at a desk, looking at names on passports, never giving up on a dream. That night, for the first time, there were 3 chairs at our dinner table. We didn't talk about the past. We talked about the future. I didn't go to London that week, but I wasn't sad, because I learned that you don't need a plane to go on the greatest journey of your life. Sometimes you just need to look at the person standing in front of you. My father was no longer a shadow. He was home. True love doesn't always look like a grand gesture. Sometimes it looks like 15 years of quiet patience and a heart that refuses to forget. If this story touched you and helped you practice your English today, please subscribe to the channel and join our family of learners.